Welcome to Family Gamer TV. I'm with Rex Crowle. We've just been looking at Tearaway. It's rather exciting and included some accordion playing and singing. So if you're explaining Tearaway to someone who hasn't seen it before, how would you describe it?
I describe it as an adventure in a paper world, which is inside your PlayStation Vita. And you, as a kind of godlike being, are outside of the game, holding this whole world in your hands. So it's all reacting in a kind of interesting and dramatic way while you're travelling through it.
And is this unusual for a Vita game? It seems like this is your main project at the moment. So rather than doing it for the PlayStation 3, you're currently focusing on just the Vita. Is that unusual?
I don't think so. I mean, we just got very, very excited about what we could do on the Vita. The combination of all the kind of front touch and back touch and all these inputs just unlocked all this kind of really innovative extra stuff we added. But also we've got twin sticks and buttons and things to play with, so that we can make a really really kind of fun, snappy adventure game as well.
Yeah, so the Vita has not only the dual stick controls you're talking about, but also has a camera, has tilt controls, has back touch screen as well. So are you using all those sort of features in the game?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I really wanted to get with the game is something that feels really tactile. I mean, it's all made of paper, so it needs to feel like flexible and.
So the game world and the elements of the game look as if they're made of paper.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's not just that they look like they're made of paper; they act like they're made of paper. So we don't just have like blocks sliding around. I mean, everything is kind of unfolding and folding, or unrolling, or doing all the kind of interesting stuff that paper can do. If it was sort of sprinkled with magic dust and it all came to life.
And so the game itself, does it follow a particular story? You introduced a boy and a girl character. I've forgotten the name. Was it Iota? Was that right?
Yeah. So the boy messenger is called Iota, and the girl version is called Atois. It's basically their names are just flipped round, and they're like a little paper messenger, and they've got a head which is designed as an envelope, and inside of that envelope is a secret message that they want to tell you, but they need you to guide them all the way through this paper world, so that they can deliver it to you ultimately.
Part of what you were presenting seemed to be that you were drawing on a sort of an older legend and mythology that you'd discovered, and some mythological creatures. Could you maybe tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we really want to pull influences from all over the place, so that it isn't just a paper world is a really fascinating starting point, but also so that we're not just so that we really dig deeper into the potential of what we can create. Today we showed one of our new creatures, which is the Wendigo, which is this big, terrifying monster, which is based on American folklore. And we really had a lot of fun exploring how to make a big, terrifying thing out of a single sheet of paper. And it's just how it folds and bends that it sort of comes to life and chases after you, and just makes things a little more adventurous.
And so that folktale, I mean, I think games can often, they sort of dip into something and pull out a cute little idea. Is there more than that? Are you engaging with the story, and is there a depth to that engagement?
Well, with the Wendigo, I mean, we're very focused on not making it a game about combat in terms of just striving forward and hitting everything. But we really want you to gradually understand the rules of the game world, and learn although the Wendigos are big and scary, as we sing in the song, they have they love eating pearls, so you learn to feed them pearls, and that's kind of they become more helpful to you. They're kind of big and clumsy, but a swipe from them could tear a big hole in a paper mountain, and then that allows you to progress further. So we're very focused on just making sure that the world reacts to you in lots of different ways, and you react to it, and it doesn't feel like you're just running down a corridor shooting things.
So the interactions, you've got a real depth to that. But in terms of how you research the story and of those folk tales, did you have to go back to old texts, or how did you discover them?
Well, the Wendigos were particularly interesting because we couldn't find. There's no real definitive version of a Wendigo. Every image I found just looked completely different. And it was kind of more interesting for us to take these sort of half forgotten things than taking something like zombies or vampires, because everyone's just seeing them all the time, and it's not quite such an interesting like creative process as really sort of pulling some little nugget from somewhere and trying to think how that would work in a paper world. And you can sort of combine the two things together really well rather than just sort of reskinning it in paper.
So you could be responsible for the rising popularity of the Wendigo once again.
I kind of hope not in some ways, because I want other people to have their takes on them. Yeah. But because the game is very much about papercraft and taking things out of the game and building it yourself, so as you're interacting with the Wendigos, you're sort of unlocking the ability to print out their paper plans so that you can make your own little dioramas of these characters. Making sure that anyone that plays can end up with their versions of the Wendigo that they've been building, and maybe they've added a few more eyes and they've stuck on extra teeth or what have you, but just adding to the game world really.
And will you provide the sort of paper templates for players to maybe physically create their own?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're as you're playing through the game world, you can essentially sort of leave your printer sort of spooling the game out for you, so that you end up with a version of the game outside of the game, really, all around you. We really like to push this sort of like physical trophies thing, so that you're not just getting little achievements that don't necessarily mean anything to anyone that's not playing the game, to like actually having cool things that you want to make and share and take photos of and show your family.
I can imagine my kids saying, "Come on, Dad, finish the next level. We want to do another bit of papercraft."
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a really fun sort of circle then, because that's how we started creating the world, is by building all of these things physically and then working out ways that we could then translate that into the game world, and seeing all the limitations and flexibility of paper just sort of inspired so many new ideas for us.
One thing my kids always ask me is how old are the characters they're playing. So how old are the characters in the game?
I haven't actually thought about that. I mean, the paper in our world is very much paper that it doesn't have like coffee stains or tea stains or doodles all over it. It's it's sort of like blank construction paper. We just use the colour of paper, and one of the reasons for that is so that you can actually take photos and add your own stuff in. So there isn't like a particular age to anything in the game. It's all essentially timeless, really.
So they can perhaps invent their own age for their characters.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the key thing is that either of the messengers are they're little adventurers, and they go on this big adventure, so they need to be like old enough and tough enough to get through all the challenges that they've got, but also they've got you outside of the game like backing them up by ripping open mountains and peeling up sea and doing all the big stuff.
Great. Well, thanks for your time. That was really good. Can't wait to actually have a go on the game myself, so thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's what we've got time this week on Family Gamer TV, but we'll be back with more soon.